All right, so the news just keeps on coming for the PlayStation. What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. So we just got done recovering from the PlayStation showcase. In the actual showcase, we got KOTOR remake. Of course, they had surprise reveals like, Wolverine, which is going to be made by Insomniac. They had Spider-Man 2. The list goes on. The show was really, really good for those particular, aspects. Now, of course, as we, continue through the week, now there's reports going around that we're going to get another show in December. And this show is going to be PlayStation Experience. Now, this is a rumor going around. I want to throw that out there before I even start talking. This is a big rumor going around. But however, it kind of makes sense, especially if you go back to previous months. Previous months before, Sony retrademarked the name PlayStation Experience a while ago, okay? And when they retrademarked the name PlayStation Experience, we kind of all figured that PlayStation Experience was going to happen at some time. Not necessarily this year, because of course, talks of the pandemic and everything, but it turns out if this rumor is true, Sony might still be going through with it nonetheless. And at the overall show that we're going to get in December, if this rumor ends up being true, we're going to see the PlayStation VR 2 headset reveal finally. They're also talking about Wipeout reboot. Now, for those of you that might be going, Wipeout reboot, that doesn't make sense. Well, listen to this. If you guys remember Sony's recent studio, which is Firesprite. Firesprite is basically Studio Liverpool. Studio Liverpool is the developer behind Wipeout. And I mentioned that in my video that more than likely you would see a reboot or remake of that game in some capacity while that studio still works on their games they're making. They're making an action-adventure type of game and they're making a shooter. Just want to be clear with you guys. They're making 2 games aside from Wipeout. Okay? Another thing that's in the actual notes here is Astrobot 2. Now, Astro's Playroom was very well received, and a lot of people really liked what Sony did with that game and the what the developers did with that game in terms of taking advantage of the DualSense and everything of that nature. So it kind of makes sense to see Astrobot 2 here. Again, Sony really wants to make this character a mascot, and it really does make sense. It actually does fit them very, very well. So I can actually see that being at the show. But probably the biggest sort of news that's coming out of this rumor is that Sony will unveil a new AAA budget Japan studio. Now, again, there's so many reports going around. There's so many things going around that Sony could be partnering with. I would be shocked if Sony was like, I don't know, partnering with Capcom. I'd be shocked if it's something like that. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, right? Hell, even Kojima Productions, that would be another big surprise. But again, is it happening? Is Kojima down for being purchased again? I really doubt it. But again, you never really know. You really never know at this time, as we go into the show. But it's really interesting to see how it's going to go down the road and what exactly, studios did Sony really acquire. Again, Capcom and their working relationship with Sony, especially with Sony now owning Evo, it kind of does make sense with them, especially with Street Fighter being such a big deal with them and the PlayStation brand. It would be a big surprise if Capcom did, partner with Sony. But again, is that really going to happen? I kind of doubt it because, again, one of the biggest things that make games like Resident Evil, Street Fighter so memorable is the fact that they're on every platform. You know what I mean? Like they're just big franchises because of that. So I'm not sure if Capcom would ever sign with Sony at this point. But again, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall here. I'm not really being real crazy serious about this. Just throwing stuff at the wall, especially with Kojima Productions. Again, it's another one. But you never really know. You never really know. All right? So moving on from that game of news, let me go ahead and get into the other bit of news here. So this next bit of news, I don't know, man. Depends on you, on how you might react to it. But the last time I talked about a game potentially going to PC, and more likely would go to PC because it just makes sense in terms of business, what they're going for, right? Especially with Jim Ryan's model, which was Uncharted. I had dudes come up my neck, and then when the reports started to happen about a, Uncharted collection going to PC, and I talked about it again, dudes immediately came at my neck. They're like, there's no way they will recharge you for the same games, and yet the PlayStation, the PlayStation event happened, and not only are we getting an Uncharted collection, well, not necessarily a collection, we're getting 4 and we're getting Lost Legacy, right? They're going to redo that again for the PlayStation 5 and PC. Now, of course, when I read this right here, this does not surprise me whatsoever, especially when we go back to Sony's purchase of Nixxes. Guys, remember, Nixxes is a company that specializes in PC ports. And as you already know, the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 are PCs in a box. Okay? So it kind of makes sense that this will happen. Now, again, this is what's going around here, okay? GeForce Now. For those of you that don't know what GeForce Now, it's basically, you know, it basically gives you access to their database. I just put it like that. It gives you access to their database. And when you have access to their database, you can actually, you know, see certain things. Number one, there's basically a list of games you can basically, you know, check out and see what's coming or what's not, you know, released yet on Steam. And they list a few games there. Number one, they listed God of War, and it does say Steam right next to it. So that more likely is already primed and ready for Steam. They're just waiting for the announcement. We don't know when it's going to be announced. But what's interesting about the list, and this is where, again, I would say take this with a grain of salt, right? But at the same time, when we go back to the whole Nix's thing, I would say be mindful. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and say it's all confirmed, so I just want to get that out here. I'm not saying it's all confirmed, but I do want to mention that there is a possibility that we'll see these games on there as well. But Returnal, Demon Souls as well, and they're also showing Ghost of Tsushima and Ratchet & Clank 2016 on this list of games that could potentially be heading to Steam. So, again, Jim Ryan, man, Jim Ryan did say the whole slate, and I think a lot of people need to really remember what he said. He said the whole slate, and when you know, go off of what I just said here again, and you look at the Steam store on PlayStation side, Sony has their own official, you know, page on Steam now where they're ready and primed to put whatever games they can on the system or on the store. So, again, man, this is not the end here. This is not the end. I just want to tell you, man, be mindful. Definitely be mindful. I don't want to dwell on this too much, but be mindful. All right. I do want to end this video off with some good news, though. We have some real good news. Deathloop. Even though I told you guys I'm a little tired of seeing this game, it turns out the game is definitely a sleeper hit. Not only is it getting 9s out of 10s, not only does it just got a 10 out of 10 from IGN, but it's also getting some really high reviews. It's getting 9s, it's getting 10s, it's getting, you know, 8s I've seen as well. And the game currently is sitting at, if I remember correctly, a 90 on Metacritic. That is really good for the game. So again, I'm not sure if you guys are interested in Deathloop, but the game did look good. I personally just got a little tired of seeing it because, you know, again, it kept being thrown in our faces, but the game does look good. I do like what they did. It's kind of like a 007 vibe, but it's got a lot of goofiness to it that really makes it shine. It does look like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun when we really look at it. So I have no complaints there whatsoever. All right. But anyway, shout out to Arcane Studios on the game. Of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, but that's about it, man. I have nothing else to really say on this whole situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out of here. Deuces.